This is going to be a very quick video, but this is something that I thought was important and something that I want to touch on. But first, someone made a comment on one of my videos that, helped me kind of realize that I think a lot of times when I try to be a lot more realistic in explaining my perspective on things, it a lot of times will come out as very negative, and it can be kind of depressing in some degree. So, in a lot of ways I want to kind of steer that towards a different direction, but I want to talk about a kind of mental shift that I've made recently. And it's kind of helped me avoid these mental blocks and these times where, I kind of just want to give up, and the level of discipline and will is at a serious low. And yeah, kind of a way for me to crawl out of that, because sometimes it's hard to find a good reason to really do things for yourself, to really take care of yourself in a way that not have a reason to just give up, and having a good why as to keep on pushing forward and staying productive. And so what I've learned to kind of think about in these times is telling myself that I need to keep pushing forward, to keep going, to accomplish as much as I can, because I need to do it for my younger self. And this has helped me extraordinarily. You can do this whether it's coming from a place of reminding yourself of, like, maybe you had some childhood hardship or difficulties that you can recall, and maybe you want to motivate yourself to create a better life for yourself, that you can make your younger self proud, if that makes sense. And maybe this sounds really cringy, but when you're just mentally in the dumps and just don't really know how to crawl out of that and be able to stay positive and happy, it's a good way to kind of think about it as, like, you've had it worse before, and so what are you going to do to make your life better, to ensure that the rest of your life is a lot more meaningful, a lot more purposeful? And so I've had to fall back on this idea a lot of, thinking about if I am able to make my younger self proud, if I am able to create a life right now that would make my younger self happy, that we have gotten to this point. And maybe you've seen people talk about this before, but it's really just a good way to almost manipulate yourself, because you're telling yourself that you are almost doing yourself justice. You're telling yourself that you're doing a good deed for yourself. And so a lot of times people struggle with finding the time to take care of themselves, and maybe you're too focused on trying to help other people and trying to make their lives easier, but maybe you don't take the time to focus on yourself and see what you really need mentally, physically, spiritually. And so a lot of times having the mindset towards trying to improve yourself for the sake of your younger self and what you've experienced in the past, it can check all the boxes for those things, and it's really a healthy way to, like I said, pull yourself out of a tough spot and to get yourself going again, and to prove to yourself that you are enough, and you don't have to go to the end of the world to be able to have the level of self-satisfaction and fulfillment. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because, there's really nothing else like this that I've been able to understand mentally that has helped me as much as this, as comparing myself to my younger years and understanding, what I've been through as compared to now, and trying to create a better future as a result of that. And that has been a main motivation, a main way to maintain discipline and will. Because the other important point is that you need to know your why, and I want to make another video on that because that's a very important aspect. It's extremely cliche. You hear about it all the time, but when you actually put that into action, it has extremely positive after effects. So yeah, so I really want to break that down eventually. So this is kind of dipping into that. But yeah, I'm just expressing this to you because this is something that has helped me a lot, and I don't have even close to everything figured out in my life. A lot of times I feel completely lost, and I'm able to find a strong sense of clarity through having this mindset of trying to prove to my younger self that our lives are better now. This is coming from my perspective, and this is my experience shifting my mental focus to think about this topic a lot more frequently. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. That's all for now.